Hey guys, I wanted to make this video on a new game that's coming out. It has real life graphics and it's developed by an independent company. It looks really interesting and I saw this video yesterday and I thought it was like really great. I wanted to share it with you guys, kind of put my thoughts into it. All right, I'm gonna play the video and then like talk through parts of it. All right.
It's hard to believe, but what you're seeing right now is not real life footage from a camera. It's actually gameplay from an Unreal Engine 5 video game called Unrecord that's currently in development
You know, the first thing that comes into mind is how graphic intensive of a GPU you need to be able to run this game.
from a new independent studio. This video has taken the gaming internet by storm in the last few days. Many people blown away by the visual fidelity and others.
Okay, wait. This scene right here, when you see the guy running, it looks hilarious. Wait.
Many people blown away by the
I'm trying to
visual
pause it.
fidelity.
Okay. I don't think we'll get it like right on. I don't know why it looks weird to me.
Fidelity, and others claiming that it's all fake or
Just the running,
pre-rendered.
like...
So today, I'm going to dive in and take a look at this, tell you a bit about the game.
The face right here, it's pixelated. I wonder if that was intended. Because it's also pixelated when he first sees the guy. He sees him. It's pixelated right there too. I wonder if he's supposed to be someone like famous, you know, like the studio is using someone famous in this game to like gain more attraction. Wonder why, or like, I wonder if that's the reason why.
So today, I'm going to dive in and take a look at this, tell you a bit about the game, and get to the bottom of it all. So the buzz for this actually started back in October 2022. Alexandre Spidler, who is creative director.
Well, that's crazy. They take into account like the glare from the windows and the smoke and everything. It just looks so real.
And a lead programmer on this new project released a video on Twitter saying simply, "I'm working on a body cam style game," with a few hashtags thrown in for good measure. And in that 45-second video, we see what looks like body cam footage of a person holding a gun, moving through a dilapidated environment and taking down a few baddies along the way. The quality of the clip is awful as it's on Twitter and only in 720p resolution. But I think that actually helps it in a way, and it would be easy at a glance to mistake this for real life footage. The environment was a shared Unreal Engine asset, but the camera style mixed with the animations made this look incredibly believable. So it sparked up some discussion, and then
another thought that came up that I'm thinking about is how many people are going to be able to play or run this kind of game. Like, I feel like you're going to need like a 4080, 4090, like, to even run this like at like 60. Maybe 60, maybe to get like 60 FPS. 60 FPS, you probably need like a 4090. Or 5090 by that time. The time this game actually releases. I'm not sure when it's... I'm not sure when it's actually going to be released. I don't remember if they talk about that towards the end.
A couple days ago, and Alexandre released a new video. This time it was on YouTube in 1440p 60 FPS quality, alongside a press release packed full of information and announcing the name of the game as Unrecord. And as you can see, this has to be one of the most realistic looking games ever. There's no doubt about it for me. And I think there's a few reasons for that. The main reason is that this isn't simulating what seeing through humans' eyes would look like. In fact, it's like the barrel distortion in the corners as if it were a lens, the wide field of view, the chromatic aberration, the shakiness, even the position of the gun in the hands. It's very unconventional for a first-person shooter, of course, but you pair that up with the excellent animation of the hands and the pistol, and you end up with something very convincing. Unreal Engine 5 is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here as well, adding in accurate lighting, textures, and what appears to be ray tracing on the puddles and shiny surfaces. You may have noticed too that the faces of the combatants are pixelated and blurred. This is obviously a choice that the developers have made, and it leans into the body cam narrative. But more importantly, it solves a big problem.
Hey, we were right. You know, it's the developers' narrative. You know, they're trying to do something here. It's probably what I said. That they're using, you know, some famous, you know, actor, someone, you know, gain that extra audience.
That might make the game look less realistic, because as human beings we're all very good at noticing when a face looks weird or fake, and video game faces, as much as they have improved, are still not photorealistic, especially when animated. But in this case that is irrelevant because you can't see the faces, and that helps sell the overall image. Still, many people online
Okay, that's actually a good input right there. So yeah, that is true. A lot of video games that have made like, you know, the face, like the features for a face, like it doesn't come out great. And now I'm wondering, like, kind of like he said, you know, because of this, that's why they might be hiding the face. It's not in a great state right now. They don't want to show that yet. And when they release the game, then it's gonna be all like super realistic, and they don't want to mess that up by showing everything else that's being great, but then the face is messed up. So that's a good point.
were skeptical about this game and didn't believe that the video was real, rather a pre-rendered sequence, or in fact a real video that's been filtered or doctored in some way. And so to prove it, the lead developer posted a new video showing the game running in the Unreal Engine editor. He flies a free camera around the environment to begin, and then he hits play and drops into the game, controlling the character, checking the pistol with the same animations, looking around and firing it off in different directions. He then flies to another area from the latest video and does the same thing, again in a different fashion, checks his ammo and goes into free cam again. So it does appear that this is in fact real, and this new video put many doubts to bed, but still a lot of questions remained. So what?
That actually is really cool that the editor went into the Unreal Engine 5 and actually played different parts of the map as, like, you know, showing you as the player shooting just different things, just to prove to your audience that, you know, this is real, this is getting developed, and this will be released.
Is Unrecord then? What is this game? Well, as I mentioned, there was a press package.
Because I'm not gonna lie, the first time I saw this, I was like, okay, no, it's not real. Someone just recorded something, and, you know, out of their, you know, Sony camera, and then shot this video. Like, I was like, no way. And I started seeing some different parts, and I was like, okay, well, yeah, they kind of proves it there with the Unreal Engine, like, editing, and then the guy actually moving. Just different from the original video. I was like, yeah.
That went out, and I'll take you through the key details now. At the moment, you can only wishlist the game on Steam with an unannounced release date, but it is not expected to be released this year. In fact, the developers are still seeking publishers and investors to support the studio. I'm sure that they'll have a lot more interest now. The game is pitched as a tactical first.
I feel like there will be investors, and I think it's going to be a very, like, smart move actually to invest in a game like this. Like, this is going to set the bar just this much higher for every other publisher, like every other, like, well, in the gaming, like, industry. It's just going to set the bar higher for story type games, or even for games like CSGO, like having a 5v5 game, like a CSGO game, but then look like this. It's, I don't know, I feel like it might be a thing, but it's gonna be hard to, you know, with the hardware requirements to run this.
Person shooter,
like, that's the only thing. Like, that's the only thing that's gonna kind of knock it down a bit, just because people aren't going to have the hardware to run this.
Immersive and narrative experience featuring complex dialogues, innovative gameplay mechanics, tough moral dilemmas, and a unique shooting system. The storyline can be compared to a detective novel or a thriller, where the player will have to investigate several criminal cases and confront a diverse cast of characters. The game's plot and presentation will be central to the gameplay experience, and players can anticipate a range of gameplay sequences as well as numerous plot twists. In terms of the moment-to-moment gameplay, Unrecord features an original aiming system, and they claim this as a free aiming system with authentic aim down sight and unrestricted hand movements. And having watched the footage several times, this is the biggest question mark for me, because usually in a first-person shooter game, the weapon and hands are in the bottom right, and when you press a button to aim, everything moves to the center of the screen nice and steady, so you can use the sight of the weapon to effectively aim at what's in the middle of your screen. But Unrecord is doing things a bit differently with the shaky movement and animation, so...
Yeah, the shooting is going to be very tricky, I feel like. Because when the guy is shooting, his gun is moving, like in different directions, like, kind of like drastically, like in CS:GO or like Valorant, there's recoil, but usually it's kind of like a straight line up, and then it starts going like zigzags a little bit, but not like you don't see your gun like kind of like flinging like side to side, when you're shooting. Like in this video, like or in this part right here,
it's a bit differently.
Yeah, see, like the gun just kind of like goes boom, 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 boom. You kind of have to like, I guess it's like more like in real life shooting, because when you're shooting like a pistol or something, like the power from it, unless it's like a Glock or something like small, not that much like force being like pushing you back. Like if it was a revolver or something, that would kind of knock you back a little bit, like your wrist back. So that one might be realistic there in that aspect.
The shaky movement and animation, so it seems it would be quite difficult to aim precisely at something. However,
yeah, that's true. Like the precision there is just not gonna be there. You're gonna have to wait like a second at least to kind of like calibrate, yourself.
I'm super interested to get hands-on with this and get a feel for exactly how it works, because this is at least something different that we haven't really seen before, or I haven't anyway. But perhaps there will be an element of aim assist or a generous hit zone if you're roughly in the correct position with your gun when aiming at a target. So I would love to hear more about how that's going to function. Moving on, the game features die and retry combat with a technical and minimalist approach. No room for errors. It's up to you to develop your own tactics. I assume there's going to be gear that you can use too, like flashbangs and grenades. You'll also be making dialogue choices that impact your experience even during combat. We see this a couple times in the video, multiple choices at one point, so perhaps what you choose there can potentially de-escalate or aggravate a situation, even offer multiple choices and potentially side.
I feel like this is being more common in more story type games coming out recently, where you have an option, and depending on what option you choose, you go with that story. Like you push the storyline based on your choices being made, like before. And then some games even have like a different ending, like between like I don't know 2-4 different endings, depending like on what you kind of choose throughout the story. I think that part's neat, because it kind of brings in the consumer to play the game more often, or to play more, and it just brings more value into your game. I think that's good.
Objectives or ways to complete a mission. The devs have responded to a few interesting frequently asked questions too. One of them related to motion sickness for people who are prone to that but might want to play this game. They said that they're working on implementing options and settings to adjust camera movement, effects, and accessibility options to make the game more comfortable to play for all. Naturally, console gamers have been keen to know if this game will be released on Xbox or PlayStation. Their reply was that currently the game runs smoothly with both keyboard and controller. We don't see any issues porting to consoles. However, we haven't yet decided on the specific platforms and consoles for release, but we will keep you updated during development. Unfortunately, it is not a VR game, so I guess that there were a lot of people who, when they saw this for the first time, went, oh, I'd love to try that on my Oculus or my PlayStation VR 2. It's not a VR game, so I don't think it's going to come to those platforms. And then finally,
I feel okay. So you said that there shouldn't be a problem releasing it on a console, but I feel like there will be a problem releasing it on this current console. I feel like the hardware for it it's good, like the PS5 and Xbox X. Like, it's a big improvement from the other consoles before it, like from the PS4 and Xbox Series S. There's some big improvements there, but I don't think enough to run this type of video game on it until maybe the PlayStation 6. I feel like that's when it's going to start more or less hitting these kind of graphics.
In regards to optimization, surely you need a monster PC to play the game looking this good, right? Well, in the FAQ, their response was that we see no issue in following an optimization process, and we cannot guarantee a perfectly optimized game, as it would be presumptuous given the challenges that ambitious studios face today, but we will meet the expectations of gamers and deliver accordingly. However, it is possible that older generations of PCs may not have sufficient performance to fully enjoy a next-gen game powered by Unreal Engine 5. So it might be time to upgrade your PC if you have the luxury of being able to do that. And that's about all for today, folks. Do let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below, and drop a like to help support me. Thank you. I'm going to keep a close eye on this one, as it looks like it has the potential to offer a unique angle in the FPS market, and you know what? You just don't see that much anymore. Also, it's great to see so many indie studios building games that are making big splashes, and I'd put money on there being a body cam section in the next modern Call of Duty single player campaign. It's coming. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, this video game it's crazy. Like the graphics, like the amount of work that they got to be putting into this. Like, I do understand that they need publishers, but I feel like they will get some publishers like soon. Like after seeing these clips, this like the short video that they made, it's like the amount of work that they put into it. They showed some parts of like, you know, right here, like what you want to do in the story. I feel like it's going to attract a bunch of publishers, and they just got to be smart about what they like who they choose to help them publish this, and just be able to work with them just throughout this whole process. And I know like this said it wouldn't be released this year, which makes sense. But yeah, I feel like this game is gonna be like a game that just kind of like elevates this to like higher lengths and just kind of like pushes every other story game to be better. Who's this also? Okay, Jack Frags. All right, I'll link to his video on the bottom too of the YouTube video, so you guys can check out like his video. But yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Leave a comment if you like what your thoughts are on this video game, if it's gonna like pop off, be like really great, or if there's like if you see any cons of having this game, this type of game release, where there's a lot of people like this said, there's gonna be very hardware intensive if you want to get the like real graphics. I wouldn't say IRL graphics. And I wonder, they said they were going to scale it, you know? So I wonder how the lowest graphics is going to look like. Is it going to be, because I'm just kind of imagining this game as like the lowest graphics. Is it going to look like a GTA kind of game at that point? But, you know, I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you think, what you like about the game, what you don't like. If you find anything new online, you know, let me know. But yeah, I find all that stuff interesting. Yeah, but I'm gonna end the video here. Like, subscribe, let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.